on the calendar for next year just in case you want me to talk, so I can be available. And ShowMeCon is one of those places where I always make sure that I'm available. DerbyCon, GurCon, it's like Hack in Paris, itdefense.de. There's a very small list of conferences where I try to figure out where they're going to be, when they're going to be occurring the next year, so I can make sure that my calendar is free for those times.
Yeah.
Just if they want me there.
And one of the big things that I've been able to see in recent years is that the Midwest has been on a pretty nice streak of successful cons. You know, what do you think the Midwest has been so successful lately?
I think because it's easier for transportation for people to get there. It's like a lot of people that normally wouldn't be able to get to DEF CON, normally wouldn't be able to get to Hope or ShmooCon. But they're able to get to a more regional location in the Midwest, and these B-sides are a really good thing out of that. It's like B-sides help contribute that. But there are some really big cons like ShowMeCon and DerbyCon and GurCon that are like actually getting a lot of the regional area and becoming a really good conference area.
Yeah.
Location. It's getting some really good speakers, and it's like, I mean, the lineup for ShowMeCon is like
it's amazing.
Awesome. Yeah, there's a really good talent, and that's a credit to the organizers for that. And it's just, I mean, it's a really good location. I mean, and a key thing, like I said, is I enjoyed being there. It's like I enjoyed the conversations. It's like I enjoyed the organizers, the way that they treated the speakers and the attendees. That's a big thing with me. It's like, so if I'm not happy at the conference and stuff, if I don't think that it's, you know, advantageous, there's no need to go.
Right.
It's, but they treat the people right. They treat the attendees right as well. Because at the end of the day, it's like at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, the only reason why the speakers are there is for the attendees. The attendees value out of it. The attendees have to be able to go and leave that conference and say, I've learned something. I made a connection there. I met a new person that has the same interests as I do, and I can collaborate on a project. It's like, if that doesn't happen at your conference failed. It doesn't matter what kind of big rock star name you got speaking on that stage. If those attendees don't leave going, I learned something, and I also made a connection, and I also got more involved in the community because of the fact that I was there. To me, that's a success.
Yeah, and one of the things, I had a conversation with Renee, the organizer of ShowMeCon, and she told me that there's excellent talent out there too, and you know, big companies, and now they're getting a chance to kind of showcase and participate in a lot of these cons that they probably wouldn't have been able to get to, like you initially stated.
Right, exactly. So it's like, I mean, it's really, we need more. I mean, a lot of people talk about, like, well, there's too many cons out there, and I'm like, well, not really. If there's still people that are going to them and it's still viable and stuff, you know, and they're still in attendance, it's not. We need to get that message out there. It's like one of the things I did a big rant last year called Around the World in 80 Cons, where I talked about the hacking culture and how trying to change the word hacker to stop being so negative. It's like people in the press and stuff, you know, they use hacker interchangeably with criminal. And I like to state and stuff, you know, there are some criminals who are hackers, but not all hackers are criminals. It's like when the whole bank collapse in the United States, we had the huge banking fiasco. You don't refer to a banker as a white hat banker or a black hat banker, one who's done the crime or embezzlement, or a Bernie Madoff. It's just they're a banker. It's like, and then when they commit a crime, they're a criminal. The same thing with a hacker. A hacker is a hacker. It's like, just because they do something good or bad doesn't change the fact that they're a hacker. It's like, if they do something bad with their skills, they're no longer a hacker. They're a criminal who used hacking techniques to commit a crime. It's like, instead of using a gun, they used a computer.
Very good point. Again, for those who are listening, you're listening to the Security Orb Show. I am on with Jayson Street, InfoSec Ranger at Pwnie Express, as well as the author of Dissecting the Hack, The Forbidden Network. On a quick note, I noticed that you were named Times Magazine's Person of the Year in 2006.
Yes, us.
Explain that to us.
Well, I'll start off with a really funny story. It's like, well, I'll tell you, and then I'll tell you a funny story about that because it's one of the only times that it's come back to bite me. Uh, you can actually Google Times Person of the Year for 2006, and when you do, you'll come across a wonderful and startling revelation. That congratulations, if you were born after 2000 or before 2006, you are Times Person of the Year because Times Person of the Year for 2006, and they say on the cover, was you. People on the internet, people on computers. And so I am officially Times Person of the Year for 2006. Now, the funny thing about that, and I put that on my bio just to be funny because it's like I didn't know what else to put out there. I also put out that I partake in a pizza from Beijing to Brazil. That's another accomplishment that I've listed in my bio. But the Times Person of the Year has only come back to bite me once. I was doing a talk in Malaysia at this conference, and the guy is reading my bio, and it's like, and he makes the mistake of reading the whole thing. And so he's talking like at first, because he doesn't know who I am, but then he's like, and he goes, and then and you can see his eyes light up, and he's like, and he was Times Person of the Year for 2006. And he's like, with reverence, and he's like, and he starts clapping, and everybody starts clapping, and he's like, he comes over and starts shaking my hand as I come up to, and I just like, I'm like, oh, I can't break his heart. I can't tell him that it's a joke, because usually I'll make a joke about it and stuff, you know. But on this one, I just had to run with it. I just had to go, okay, I'm Times Person of the Year for 2006. And everybody in that poor audience thought that they were like meeting some famous person. Nope, just me. It's like, it was pretty hilarious.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
That's the only time that it's come back to bite me.
Okay. So, again, the ShowMeCon conference is being held in St. Louis, Missouri on June 8th and 9th, and of course, Jayson will be speaking. What else do you have set up for the rest of the year?
Oh my God, I'm booked out till January, I think, at least once a month. I go to ShowMeCon, then I do something in DC, and then I'm in right after that I'm in Hack in Paris, June, I think like 16th, 17th, and 18th, or no, 17th, 18th, and 19th. Then the 20th, I'm at Nuit de Hack, which is the thing about Hack in Paris. It's like Hack in Paris is like a black hat, a miniature black hat, and Nuit de Hack is a distilled, concentrated version of DEF CON in one day. So it's a really cool conference there. Then I'll be, I think in July, I'll be at Converge Detroit. August is DEF CON and Black Hat. September is DerbyCon. October is GerCon and SysCan 360 in Beijing. December, I think I'm going to, or November, I forgot what was in November. And then December is, I'm trying to get Code Blue in Tokyo. And then January, it's itdefense.de in Frankfurt. So
when do you rest and sleep?
Not much. I don't sleep much. It's like, I've actually slowed down this year. It's like last year was way too hectic, and so I'm not quite as busy this year. It's like I'm spending more time, and this year I'm actually taking my whole family to Paris with me, so they actually get to see me on the road a little bit, and so it's like but I have stayed home a little bit more this year than I did last year. So it's like I've tried to. Next year I'll probably be all over the place again because it's like I got another ranty talk. But this year was actually, it's pretty slowed down this year.
So I guess if someone wants to contact you to invite you to speak or to ask you a question or even to purchase your book, what are some contact information that you could leave with us so we could follow you and nag you a little bit?
Okay, well, no, definitely. I get a lot of people that are that ask me questions that I like to interact with. So it's like you can. One way is Twitter. It's just my name, JYSONSTREET, on Twitter. Also, you can from my Twitter profile, you can see the Verboten website. There's a web contact form on that site as well as my Forbidden.com site. There's a web contact form that you can contact me. And I get those emails, and it's like, so I can reply to you there from that, or you can just tweet at me and ask a question. And also, I'm starting a not a podcast, but I'm starting a little miniature thing where I actually answer questions that people have given me. I devote I just finished one last night with my friend Cassie, where we just take one question and we try to answer it. It's not like a regular interview. It's just, hey, this is a question that I keep getting. Let me do my best to ramble and rant and answer it to the best of my ability.
So basically questions from Twitter, Facebook, your website, or is it like a specific area?
A little bit of everything. It's like people have asked me, like the first one that we tackled, we spent 28 minutes talking about how do you get into information security. It's like if you're just starting or you've not been in this industry, it's like how do you start out in it? If you've got an IT background, or if you're just someone that's just, I just want to join and become a hacker. I just want to become a information security professional. It's like, how do I do that? How do I become a blue team guy? How do I become a red team guy? And so we just talked for 28 minutes on the different approaches, the different kind of resources you can get to do that.
And where can we find that information?
That is, I will be tweeting that out very shortly.
Okay.
It's on YouTube. It's on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
I also do a interview series where, as I travel around the world, I talk to hackers and security professionals, and sometimes they're one and the same, all around the world. I started out in Beirut. It's like I've done some in London, some in DC, some in Leipzig. It's like, and just asking different questions to people about hacking culture. And those are like quick little 5-minute, 6-minute interviews.
Wow, yeah, we would definitely like to take a look at those once they're available. So yeah, we'll definitely be looking out for that.
Okay.
So I always end by asking the person that I'm interviewing is, and you kind of answered it already, but I'll ask it again, is, in your opinion, to individuals and enterprise, what do you feel is the biggest security threat that they face?
The biggest security threat an enterprise will face, and I'm going to surprise you on this one.
Uh-oh.
It's the knowledge of what's going on their network and what's leaving their network. And what I mean by that is, like, if you'll see a lot of these breaches, even though they've been compromised by a human error, they never caught the fact that all the data was leaving their network via the network. So it's like exfiltration of data. It's like knowing what devices that are on your network. And this is not a plug, no pun intended, for Pwnie Express, because of what the tool that they're using with the Pwn Pulse. But that is a main issue, is knowing what your network is. G.I. Joe saying, knowing is half the battle.
Right.
That goes with your network. It's like, do you know what's on your network? Do you know what's trying to communicate outbound? I tell people, you don't build a firewall to block things coming in at you. You're supposed to build a firewall to control what's coming in and out of your network. Every firewall rule should have a policy or procedure tied to it to justify its existence. And if you don't, then there's a problem with your policy or there's a problem with your firewall. And it's like, you need to address it that way. So it's like, I think what people need to learn is what's going on their network and what data is leaving it and is it supposed to leave. It's like, you shouldn't be able to click on a link, get malware attached to your computer, and then have that person exfiltrate a terabyte of data out of that network without the network guys going, uh-oh, why is, Bob in accounting sending out a 4 gig file to China's FTP server? That should, cause a red flag, Or even if it was, Russia's FTP server or Brazil's FTP server or the FTP server in New York. It's like, I like to pick on everybody because everybody's doing it.
That was definitely a surprise answer, because I thought it was going to be straight social engineering and you threw a curveball on that. So, very good answer, and thank you for sharing. Again, thank you, and again, I look forward to seeing you in DerbyCon or some hacker conference, or when you're out here in DC. Get my first official awkward hug. Big 6-foot guy.
I'll see you on the 9th. So it's like you might get an awkward hug then.
Okay, great. So again, this is the Security Orb Show. I've been speaking with Jayson Street. Again, he is the InfoSec Ranger at Pwnie Express, and author, and speaker of conferences such as DEF CON, DerbyCon, UConn, and several others.
And ShowMeCon.
And ShowMeCon, which will be held